Welcome to our YouTube channel Technology Tutorials. In this video, we are going to cover AWS Global Infrastructure, which is the global cloud infrastructure serving or powering AWS web services across the globe. We'll cover the following topics. First, we'll see why AWS Global Infrastructure is important, then the components and the benefits. Now, why AWS Global Infrastructure is important? Now, it serves the Amazon Web Services cloud infrastructure across the globe, and it has been one of the main reasons why AWS has always been one of the first choices for organizations who are trying to build their applications on cloud or trying to move their application to cloud. Here we are trying to jot down some of the important points like the security and reliability and the extent of the cloud platform that AWS provides across the globe is one of the main reason why our customers choose AWS, and this is only possible because of the global infrastructure. And earlier, when customers used to deploy applications in multiple regions, it used to take them months or years, but in AWS it is possible to launch it within minutes or hours with a few clicks of the button on the AWS console. Now, another big benefit or why AWS Global Infrastructure is important is customers are able to provide the same end user experience to users across the globe with sub-millisecond latency. They can easily design and deploy applications which are highly available and also include disaster recovery. And lastly is AWS provides 200 plus services which are deployed across different geographical region which the customers can use. Now let's look how AWS global infrastructures look like. In this AWS global infrastructure diagram, we can see there are three regions which are connected to each other through a high bandwidth and fully redundant network. Now, what are regions? Regions are geographically isolated regions where AWS cloud infrastructure are located. So they are separated from one another by hundreds of miles, so that in case one region faces a natural disaster like flood or earthquake, the other region is not impacted. The concept of region makes it easier to implement disaster recovery solutions. Inside each region, we can see AZ1, AZ2, AZ3, or there can be multiple AZs also. So these are availability zones, or in other equivalent terms, if we explain, it can be considered as an isolated data center within a region. Though for explaining purpose, we have mentioned that each AZ is equal to one data center, but in reality each AZ hosts multiple physical data centers, and each AZ has its own power supply, cooling system and separate infrastructure which are completely isolated from another, so that it provides HA or high availability and fault tolerance. So if we consider region, so region is mainly created for disaster recovery and AZ is for HA. Next are the point of presence, or in other words the edge locations. So if you see in the right hand side in region 2, we have 2 EC2 instances, or we'll come back to it later. These are the VMs hosted on each AZs, and it is being served by a elastic load balancer, and then there is a S3. So this S3 ELB, this serves as the CloudFront origin servers. So CloudFront is nothing but a global content distribution network CDNs should have low latency and high transfer speeds for seamless user experience. So edge locations were created which caches the used informations locally which are nearer to the end user, so that end users have a smoother experience. Edge locations were originally implemented for this purpose, but currently it can do various processing near to the endpoints. Then we have regional edge cache, which is a new service which holds much more information than edge locations can have, and it's also closer to the edge locations, so that if something which the edge locations can't hold or process, it is stored and processed on the regional edge cache and then sent back to the edge locations. Now this implementations of regional edge cache helps to reduce the load on the origin servers because most of the processing are now done at the regional edge cache. So this is another benefit that we have, and because it's located nearer to the edge locations, so the end user experience is further enhanced. Next we have AWS local zones, which is a type of AWS infrastructure deployment that is used to place compute, storage and database and other specific services closer to the end users or specific IT data centers which can deliver applications which with very low latency. So this is the main purpose of AWS local. Now if we see the diagram, we have edge locations and local zones, both closer to the end user, but they are very different. One of them, which is local zone, is used to deploy applications near to a large set of populations so that they can get millisecond latency performance, whereas the edge locations are used to serve the contents provided by the content delivery network, so that they provide better user experience in that aspect. Plus with latest additions, they can also perform certain processing at the edge. So these are the main components of AWS Global Infrastructure. We also have few other components like AWS Wavelength, which is mainly used to build and deliver ultra low latency applications to mobile device and end users, and mostly used for the telecommunication domain. So the benefit starts with security. So security of the AWS cloud infrastructure, it's very stringent. It starts with the physical data center security, and there are other security aspects also of the global infrastructure. So AWS has all major security certifications in place. So cloud applications which the customers build, they can rely on that security and build their secure application and deploy their applications on cloud, and this is monitored. The security aspect of this is monitored 24/7. Now performance is one of the main benefits that AWS Global Infrastructure provides, both from the organization as well as an end user point of view. Each AWS region is connected via very high bandwidth and redundant network, and along with that you have the local zones, edge locations and AWS wavelength, which provide single digit millisecond latency and to the end users. So these are things which are the performance benefits of AWS Global Infrastructure. This availability is one of the another benefit that we have already discussed earlier, that the AZ and region concepts are provided for the HA and disaster recovery. So This is one of the biggest benefit why organization choose AWS Global Infrastructure to build and run their applications. Global footprint. AWS has regions spanning across multiple continents across the globe, and they are expanding it very rapidly. So that allows for global footprint in a pretty quick time. So AWS Global Infrastructure provides the scalability that customers were looking for a long time. Earlier they needed to invest a lot upfront. The capex was very high because there was no option, or the scaling up of the physical infrastructure required months to complete. Now with AWS it can be done in minutes. So customers don't need to over provision resources, and they can scale it as and when required. So this is the scalability benefit of AWS Global Infrastructure. Lastly is the flexibility, like you can host your applications anywhere across the globe, as they have regions and AZs anywhere. Then it gives the flexibility of designing and deploying the application in different way. The same applications can be deployed using different AWS services in different ways based on the requirement. And lastly, if you need very high performance, so you can use AWS local zones. Also, if customers who wants AWS experience on their on-premises, so can use AWS Outpost. So this is the flexibility benefit of AWS Global Infrastructure. Next, I will show you in the AWS console the regions and how each services can be defined from another. In terms, some services can be global and some can be regional, some can be specific to AZs. Okay, so now let's look at the Amazon documentation for the global infrastructure. So whatever we have explained in the past 5-6 minutes, we can see AWS also explains the same things, but the point of focus here is to show you the list of regions and AZs that AWS currently has, and the announcement they have made. So currently we have 26 regions which are launched across different continents and 84 AZs. So if we see, and if we deep dive further into each regions, we'll see some of the regions in Asia Pacific has 2 AZs, whereas some of the regions like Northern Virginia has 7 AZs. So this is how the distribution is, but they're expanding, and based on demand they launch more AZs per region. Now they have 17 local zones. As I mentioned, that it is a new service that AWS has launched. So currently it is not distributed across all regions, but they have announced 32 new local zones, so they are expanding faster. Then they have 28 wavelength zones, which are mainly for telecommunications applications, like, and supporting 5G use cases. So these 2 local zones and wavelengths are mainly used for low latency applications. Then they have new 8 regions which have been announced, and it's going to be part of launch regions very pretty soon. Then the last 2 points are direct connect locations. Direct connect locations are dedicated networks, which private networks, which does not use the public internet, so they are pretty fast, and details will be explained in later videos. Now 410 plus point of presence, so you can see it contains the edge locations and the edge caches. Now according to the Magic Quadrant 2021, AWS is way ahead of its nearest competitor Microsoft, and it has a huge market share in the global cloud market. Here we can see the list of regions that are launched, which are represented by the green dots, and orange dot represents the regions which are to be launched. You can see some of the continents has more regions than the others, and that is purely based on the demands. And these are the benefits that we have explained in our past few minutes, in the benefits section. So that's all I wanted to show you here. Now we'll get into the AWS console and show you a few services and how they are available globally or per region or per ASIS. So okay, so now we are in the AWS console, and here you can see we have some recently visited services. This is the section where we can see the number of the list of regions. So we are basically in Northern Virginia, which is US East 1, and say if we want to see say a sample of which service are global or regional or per AG. So first let's see some of the global services. So first let's go to IAM. So this is the identity and access management service. So here if you can see, this region changes to global and there is no option to select any specific region. This is because once a user is created, that user has access to all the regions, okay, unless and until you specify in the policy that that user cannot access, but still that user will be able to log in but not use any service there. So that is the global service. Then let's go and see CloudFront. CloudFront is the content delivery network. So here also you can see it's a global, right? So content delivery networks are deployed on a global scale and then distributed through the specific edge locations to the end users. Okay, now coming to a regional service. Now if we go to here and then in the EC2 console, if we go to load balancers, now if we select, say we create a load balancer, right? Here I will not create it, but you can see one load balancer can span across multiple ASIs, or in fact I can span it across the region. So this is a regional service, right? The load balancers. Now last is the services which are AG specific. So this is EC2 is one of them. EC2 or EBS storage volume, these are AG specific. So when we create the Amazon EC2 configurations, there you have to select the subnets, right? So that will make it AG specific. So if you come down, this is now here in the network settings, you can see the subnet, no preference, like it will deploy in any of the subnet which is marked as default. So if we go to edit, now here you have to select or choose one of the subnets. You cannot choose multiple subnets because the EC2 instance can only be created on one AC. So this makes it a AZ specific service. This concludes this video. Thanks for watching.